Doing a little bit of sheathing today on the roof before some of this nasty weather comes in. So we're going to start by measuring our 48s, from the edge of the fascia board up on each side, and then we'll run a stringer and snap a line just to make sure we're keeping our 48 consistent. We left just enough gap on these trusses, the end of the truss, so the sheet will overlay perfectly. You could rip this board down at an angle, I guess, like this, but that's kind of just a pain in the butt. So basically what you do, this one's kind of ate up, but you just leave enough room, enough gap for that to come down over. Just ran our line, snapped it. So you got a mark right on 48 all the way down, just to keep your sheets straight. It's also probably a good idea to measure from your mark up to the peak as well, just to make sure everything's square. That wind is kicking today, baby. My overhangs actually came out to 11 inches. So I measured from the end of this fascia plate here over, and I came out with 83.5 inches to the center of this truss. So you got to measure over from the end of the fascia board over, wherever that lands, close to 8 foot in the middle of the truss is where you're going to make your cut. In my case, 83 inches. So come over here, we'll make our 83s. Not quite a full piece. Close to it, we'll have a little bit of waste, but snap a line. Just picked up this Metabo 30 to 34 degree spiker. Nice and light. Shoots them right. It's got a nail adjustment on it. It's got a fun trigger on it as well. Go for semi-automatic to automatic. Just got done hoisting this up the ladder this way, and the ladder blocks you from being able to push it down flush with that fascia board. So I came up from this end and found my 48, marked it, got it flush, tacked it, and let's move down the line. Got our 48s where we marked our strips at, or our stringer. We'll pull it up to that line, we'll tack it in. We look good right there too. We look good on this one. So take that one home as well. Just about in the middle of that truss there, so I think we're looking good. You have fallen into this situation where you don't have a guideline, just measure from the end of your board to the center of that truss, 12 inches. Come down here, mark 12 inches. So I have snapped my line. I know exactly where the center of that truss is at. I am not finished getting this tacked in. I'll tell you what, it never goes as planned. So over here we had my bracing ran across. I kept everything pretty true over there as far as spacing. But over here, this has been sitting out in the weather for a while, and I don't have bracing ran on the top over here. So my trusses are a little bit out of center. So as you'll notice, I should have a 2 foot on center there. And I'm pretty anal about this stuff. I like to get everything nice and straight. What I decided to do is go right in the middle where all these bows are at and put this. I had this metal spacing that came with the kit. I wasn't using it. I'm not used to it, but I found a utility in this. My buddy suggested I use this to make sure all the bow is taken out. Everything's perfectly 2 foot spaced down the row, because as you'll see, we came up short on that piece of plywood over there because the truss needs to come this way. And it's throwing, look, it's throwing each one of these off about a half foot on, or a half inch on center. So what I'm going to do, put this bracing all the way down, sure everything up, and then we'll tack it down. Just quickly show you what I did. I put all these spacers in. You can just as easily use a 2x4 with screws through it. Anyway, see these two clamps? I pulled everything over. I needed a half inch. So I pulled everything over a half inch because for whatever reason, the spacing between these two was not quite 24 on center. It was 23 and a half. So that's where my half inch was coming from. So I pulled everything over, and you can see we're hitting right smack dab in the middle now. This one's just a little off. I don't know why, but look at these other ones. They're right where they need to be, so we can continue on with our row. You have to get the first row correct, fellas. Everything follows it. All right, here's the progress. I had to call it quits. Got this done the other day. Got this one. The light makes that gap look a little worse than it is, but those clips are there. 2 foot overhangs. So the first row was very finicky. The fascia board wasn't exactly, you can probably tell on the camera, it bows out a little bit here. It was throwing my sheet off here. So and this side was not the side that I lined the stringer up to, so I had to deal with all the imperfections over here. But I just made the sheet, you can see it kind of overhangs a little bit right here. But on the ends, it's pretty much right on. Side was damn near perfect. It just worked out real nice because I ran that stringer to set the trusses in place. So this one came out real nice.